right, have and have not fans. Now, this is a mini theory video that I have to admit, this is probably one of the earlier videos I did on the channel back when I got started, and I actually received at least 3 to 4 comments slash messages about this on different live streams, and it has to do with who is Erica's father on the haves and the have-nots. Now, this goes back to around the time that, Erica and Candace teamed up and beat up Aaliyah. And, they're pretty much trying to figure out who Oscar really was, because this was after Oscar retrieved the money that Candace had extorted from Jim Cryer back in season 3. And we knew that a little bit more about Erica's backstory. It looks like she actually had a child, and the child is now with her parents. I believe she even said that her father was a preacher, and she would have rather have her child grow up with her parents and, the parents not have anything to do with her because of her lifestyle. And even if her child finds out the lifestyle that she lives and kind of looks down on her, or pretty much is disappointed in her own mother, she would rather have that than have something happen to her child. Keep in mind, this was when Warlock was randomly popping up at Candace's house because he had found out from Benny about the millions of dollars that she extorted from Jim Cryer, not the tens of thousands of dollars that she claimed to have obtained. So Erica was actually at Candace's house during one of these events where Warlock was literally just showed up. I think it was either Warlock had showed up while Erica was there, or Erica came over while Warlock was quote unquote just leaving. And those two acted like they had never seen each other. But then Erica said that her sister got involved with Warlock, and they've met once in passing, but nothing serious, which we learned later was a lie. Now, the reason I'm doing this video is because after mentioning that her father was a preacher, she said that, hey, you know what, maybe you should let your child go with your mom, because the way Warlock is just rolling up in your house like this, and you're on his hit list. Do you really want your child mixed up into this? And this was before Candace got official custody of Quincy Jr., but she kept talking about the fact that she wanted her child to move in with her. So after learning more about her backstory and the fact that we know of a preacher in the haves and the have-nots, that led me and a lot of other fans to believe that the preacher we saw back during season 2, Reverend, I am sorry, I forgot his name. That's not his name, but I forgot it. But he was the one that was pretty present during the whole Little Lizzie hit and run scenario. I believe the first time we met him was when Michael and Hannah met in the hospital. Of course, Benny from the hit and run, and then Little Lizzie was in the hospital and Michael was there talking down to his daughter, because look, if you hadn't been in that crack house, she wouldn't have been in this situation to begin with. And the pastor was actually somebody helping out Michael, because in that county hospital, there was nobody there to really help out Hannah or give her the information she needed. It was like a Friday or a Saturday night, and this was common, for people to just come up in there with injuries due to shootouts and drugs and whatnot. So the pastor was actually going to speak with the sheriff to see if they can get some information. Now, the reason this pastor is so important is the fact that he was in multiple episodes in season 2. Of course, he preached at Little Lizzie's funeral, and I'm pretty sure Hannah is familiar with the pastor, because during the funeral, the pastor asked Hannah if she wanted to say a few words, and Hannah just couldn't do it during that time, because remember, the preacher I don't want to say use Hannah, but pretty much he was hoping that she would help out with the whole March for Justice, because Little Lizzie was dead. I mean, that was a pretty heart-wrenching moment when the doctor came out and said that Little Lizzie had passed away. And given the fact that her son Benny was hit by the same driver, he was wondering if Hannah would be willing to, speak at like the funeral or go on the news with them, because it was all about bringing this guy to justice and to show that this town has had enough of people, breaking the law, doing drugs, and then innocent people caught in the crossfire. So this actually made sense, because typically when we see a character on the haves and the have-nots, they might have a quote unquote minor role for a while, but then it turns out they're connected to one of the major characters. So that's why it actually did make sense if Erica's father was actually the same preacher we saw back during season 2. And if I'm not mistaken, that was the only time we heard mention of her kid, was when she was telling Candace about, getting Quincy Jr. Out of this crossfire and then giving custody to her mother. So honestly, I think it'll be pretty interesting if we learn more about her backstory. I think it would be a great way of reintroducing the pastor to the storyline. I mean, that's just my 2 cents. But with that being said, what do you think of this theory? Do you think that the pastor from season 2, who was in the Little Lizzie arc or saga, if you will, do you think it's possible that he is the father of Erica and is, watching after his grandchild? So with that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think this theory holds up? Do you think we'll ever find out, Erica's lineage? And if you love fun theories like this and discussing all of Tyler Perry's movies and TV shows, I highly recommend subscribing to the channel so you don't miss out. Give this video a thumbs up if you like what you heard, and I'll talk to you soon.